Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab, in the book, doing what I do for you. Got a nice little lesson for you. Shouldn't be that long, so let's go. Wrightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. We got a good thing going. Right thinking, mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to a higher level of a spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Okay. Right thinking's way of life through mental spiritual discipline will help and guide you to attain your goal, aka know thyself. So my mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. All right thinkers, if you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do. A person who knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows not that they know they spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and too. Might not be true. Right thinkers, I'm continuing from the last lesson we did about yoga study, whatever, measuring. Okay, now let's talk about the study of yoga. No, first we're going to do the Metu. The original writings, they call them hieroglyphs. No, they were Metu, means the writing of God. That's why most people who read the Bible think God wrote the Bible. God did the Metu. Okay, let me give you a breakdown of that. This should be fun. I broke down the Haru, the Set, Samatawi concept, but let's talk about the Metu. The most ancient writings, and it wasn't writings. Why? Because in our historical period are from what we know to be the ancient Egyptians. These writings are referred to as, they call them now, hieroglyphs. It wasn't letters, it wasn't words, they was like they call pictograms, but they was called Metu, M-E-D-U or M-E-T-U, N-E-T-E-R. Okay. The original name given to these writings by the ancient Egyptians were Metu, not what the Greeks called them. And everybody go by what everything is the Greeks written. No, we called it Metu. And the meaning behind what we called it and what we know it to be was the writing of God. Tahuti was the God that wrote the Metu. He's God's mind. God have aspects of human. We use those aspects to perpetrate emanations, aspects of God. And Tahuti is the brain. He's the mind. He's in our head. And he's the writing of God, or we know Netter Metu. Reverse it, or it means divine speech. Divine means God. Again, God speaking. God's talking to you. See where we're going? Okay. Now, these writings were inscribed, where at? In temples, on coffins, on papyrus, and contain, listen, the teaching. Right there. They was big on learning and getting information for the purpose of what? Bettering themselves so they can know themselves, preparing themselves for the afterlife. Death was imminent. They didn't worry about that. They were more worried about what after death, what they going to make it through. the scales of Mayat, Judgment Day. So they had to take lessons, learn all they could to get knowledge of self. So at that time, they will be prepared. Moving on. The 42 Confessions of Mayat. That's righteous living. And watch this. It was written everywhere in the teachings in reference to what? The spiritual nature of the human being. They knew that there was a spirit inside them. They said the body was the prison for the spirit. And the mind is, the ego is the warden. And Haru is your parole board. I love that idea. But because I know the system is pretty much about that. But anybody see Shawshank Redemption, that warden, that's your ego. Sneaky, deceitful, always thinking of himself. He's the perfect, that's a perfect example. Why we use the guy in the White House? Same thing. Obtuse, none. He really obtuse in the White House. He don't have a clue. But that idea of what the ego, selfish, me, I, always trying to get the edge, or them kind of people can't stand. Okay, but the idea is it's your choice. You can be that kind of person. You can be a good person. Again, moving on. And the good people see get the bad end of the stick. Ancient time, good was revered and respected. This time, they don't respect good. All right, here we go. Now, the human being. It referenced the spiritual nature of human beings and the ways to promote what? Spiritual emancipation. That's freedom. You do that by becoming awakened, or what they call resurrecting. Getting up, okay? Coming back. The ancient Egyptian proverbs presented here in this text, I'm going to read them down for you. You done heard them before, but this, I'm going to break them down again. And they are the translations from the original Medunetta scripture, or the hieroglyphs. An example of the hieroglyphic text was presented above in the form of the text of Smartawi, or Egyptian yoga, on the cover of the book. Right here they're talking about. Okay? The wording, no words, the signs, symbols that mean things. Okay, we're going to put the words to it. But right here, let's go to Egyptian proverbs. Egyptian philosophy may be summed up. How? In the following 1, 2, 3, 4, I got 5 things, proverbs that break down that Egyptian yoga philosophy breaks down to what it really means. Okay? And it's the whole purpose is what? Sums up the following proverbs, which clearly, after you hear them, you will understand they states that what? Your soul is heavenly, up there, or divine, and that your human being, the body, must awaken to the true reality. You must know who you are, which is the spirit self. Calm down. Let's talk about it. The spirit self. Know thyself. See the correlation there? See the play on words there? Who is thy? Yours truly. The inner self is you, and your inner self is him too. Get the concept? Now, you hear me tell you, scholastic knowledge, biblical knowledge, all that knowledge is good, and that's fine. But none of that trumps what? Self-knowledge. I got Masonic knowledge, I got all kind of knowledge, but self-knowledge trumps all of them. Self-knowledge is the basis of what we know to be true knowledge. Chew on that. Self-knowledge is the basis of what we know to be true knowledge. So knowledge of self is the creme de la creme, highest level, best high, whatever you want to call it, okay? That's it. Soul, which resides in the human body, when the body ceases to exist, your soul goes to heaven if it's enlightened. The body stays the earth. If the soul is not enlightened, it go get another body. That's his job, okay? It just wait till it can get to go home. Man is to become God-like. I gave this a couple lessons ago, and sometimes it's really redundant, but I still want to make the point because that's what's the Egyptian proverb. Man is to become God-like. How? Through a life of virtue and cultivation of the spirit, through scientific knowledge and daily practice of and bodily disciplines. It's saying keep the mind, body, and spirit all working as one, and you will have long life, good prosperous life, in every aspect of life. There's no sense to be good, selfless servant, and your body's running down. Your health ain't good. That ain't good. Okay, so that's the concept. You hear people talking about salvation. Jesus is my salvation. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. Please stop that. I just can't let you just keep, I can't go with that. Well, I know better. If you don't know better, let me help you out. Salvation is accomplished. Listen. Salvation is accomplished through the efforts of the individual. Yes, your efforts. And hear me when I tell you, there is no mediator between man and his or her salvation. You represent yourself. Jesus can't represent, he can't stand in for you. None of that. No, he got to represent his own self. He got his own self to worry about. That ain't your issue. You are your issue, okay? And your salvation is on your hand, okay? That's on you. Salvation, what is salvation? Yeah, okay, well, now people might not get it. Well, I thought salvation was given through something. Yeah, the real writ. No. Salvation is the freeing of one's soul from what? This is the prison. From the bodily fetters, okay? Becoming a God through knowledge, self-knowledge. And, what's this? Wisdom. By controlling the forces of the cosmos instead of being a slave to them. If most people who are ignorant to the force, they're slaves. They don't have a clue. They're at the forces, women, whenever. Okay. But it means to subduing your lower nature. I keep trying to tell you, brothers and sisters, below the waist is low. Okay. Low blowing boxing below the waist. Okay. You can't hit below the waist. Low nature, control, subduing one's lower nature. How? Through awakening what? Your higher self. And by doing so, becoming conscious, spiritually light and anointed, whatever you want to call it, by doing that, that's how you end what? The cycle of rebirth. Meaning, going back in line again, no, when this body is over, it's going to the earth. But guess what? Spirit's going home. There you go. When older people who lived a good life, they don't mind leaving this for why? They feel like it's a better one after this. Why? They lived a good one here, it's going to be better there. If you didn't live a good one here, you'll be back to get it right. You ain't going there if you live a good one here. That's the caveat. This is the stopgap for life to get to afterlife. You got to come into human form. Spirit got to come down into matter. It got to go to the limitations of the physical body from birth to however it be here. And if it don't learn its lessons that's coming to do what you know thyself, it'll be back over and over and over again. Eternity don't give a shit. Don't care crap about time. We do. We live in a time continuum. Eternity ain't worried about time. It's just there. Like the noon. It's going to be there. It ain't going nowhere. Moving on. So you can leave it, but you'll be back. Providing you know who you are. Remember who you are in the flesh. I just did the lesson. Knowing thyself is really remembering thyself. Why? We know the body knows, the conscious does know. All right, the heart know who it is. Excuse me. And by ending the cycle of what? Rebirth, because the dwelling with the netters in the afterlife, who altogether excuse me, being with the one, control the great planes in the afterlife. You become one of them. You only get there. Like qualifications. Every job got qualifications. Everything got qualifications. Due to. Okay? But your test here on earth in the physical form. All right, let's get this little part down here. I hope they got a little meat and potatoes right here that should take it in. Egyptian yoga is a revolutionary new way to understand what and practice ancient Egyptian mysticism. The ancient Egyptian mystical religion, Shita Netta, that I mastered, also called Egyptian yoga, again, the book we're reading from, is what has been, watch this, commonly referred to by modern Egyptologists as Egyptian religion. We say one thing, they say something else, or mythology. Religion is a belief system. We had a spiritually based system. Yoga system, philosophy. Excuse me, gnosis, to know. We got you to know God. But to just think of Egyptian philosophy or mythology as just another set of stories or allegories like the Masonic order got. Did any guy mason up and find King Solomon's temple? Let me know. A lot of stories about, excuse me, get that out my throat. Excuse me. It's just another story about a long lost civilization. They really existed. They actually did the thing that they wrote and documented. Okay, understand that. The people in the Bible, nowhere near this. Two different things. I'm going to break that down to you. I'm going to show you religion, the difference. I got that coming for you too. Don't worry. I got something for you. But not just think that was lost civilization to what? Complete. If you think that, you completely miss, you ready for this? The greatest secret. Excuse me. Of human existence. They knew themselves. They knew that they was one with God. They were the most spiritual, intellectual, civilized people that ever walked the face of the earth. As a people, collectively, we ain't came close to that. What is yoga? Question. The literal meaning, again, I broke that down to you a while ago, of the word yoga is to yoke or to link back. The implication is to link back every individual consciousness to what? Its original source, God, which is the original essence of all things in the universe and in the physical world. This is God's world. This is his place. The universal consciousness. Ah, dang it. In a broad sense, yoga is what's this? Yoga, like right thinking, is any process which helps you, the one, to achieve what? Spiritual liberation, or what we call freedom from the spiritual ignorance of human beings, which causes pain and through spiritual ignorance. Right there. All your problems due to yourself through ignorance of your higher self, meaning the ego is in control and you don't know God. That's what it means. Okay? So whenever you engage in any activity with the goal of what? Promoting the discovery of one's true self, be it studying the wisdom yoga philosophy teaches, exercising, which I do that also. Oh, fasting. I'm in the fast right now for the month of April. I'm fasting. Again, daily meditation, understanding your breathing techniques and breathing control, ritual practice, chanting, praying, etc. These are all the things that you can practice for yourself. And now you are what? Practicing yoga. Those are things that all fall in line of what? Self-improvement, self-awareness, knowing thyself. They all fall in the same category. But if your goal is to help you to discover your essential nature as being one with God or the supreme being of consciousness, then what that? Yes, that's yoga. Again, yoga in any of its forms, and there's many, as the disciplines of spiritual spiritual development, as practiced daily in ancient Egyptian earlier than anywhere else in history. Again, we the originators, we started it. But the ancient scripture describe how Asar, which was the first mystical king of Egypt, of ancient Egypt, traveled. What did he do? He traveled throughout Asia, Europe, and what he did, established other civilizations, and he taught them the practice of what I call now religion. All right? He didn't teach Christianity. No, way before that. This partially explains why the teachings of all mystical spirituality known as yoga and the Vedanta in India are so similar. When the original is copied, the copy is going to be a little less original, but it's going to be pretty much the same. You notice that? And they're similar to the teachings, of Shitar Netta, our ancient Egyptian religion. Again, they call it religion. We call it a spiritual system. And Egyptian yoga. And this unique perspective from what we call the highest philosophical system, which developed in Africa. When? You ready? Over 7,000 years. They been nice. Okay? They tell you Babylonians started 4,000 years ago. They tell you the Mesopotamia, they was around 6,000 years ago. So if we was at 7,000, I mean we was before them. And if they both knew the will, we didn't know the will. Okay, we didn't use the will. Okay? So if we copied them, we would have had the best. We'd have been a whole lot easier using that damn will that they got. Man, we'd have been cool. All right? So that one of those indicators. So something, how you know? Know your history. Do some studying. Pay attention. Learn something simple. All right? But again, they started out over 7,000 years ago. So everybody after that, moving on, fall in line. But it provides us with a new look at life. But that man don't go back 7,000. He wasn't around 7,000 years ago. He only been around 3,000. That's why everything out of Egypt is 3,000. That's what he know. That's all he know. Go back past that. He don't exist. That's why I dwell where he don't have a nickel in his dime. Moving on. That's why I don't worry about that stuff y'all talking. Religion, psychology, and the way of spiritual development leading to spiritual enlightenment. So the Egyptian yoga is not merely a philosophy, no, but a spiritual discipline for For promoting spiritual evolution in all human beings. In all human beings who practice the philosophy, who practice that way of life. And that's allowing him or her, to discover the ultimate truth. There's truth out there. It's always been out there. It ain't went nowhere. The supreme peace, Hotep, and the utmost joy, bliss, which lies, like a personality who owns vast riches, thinking that he is poor and homeless. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you got. You a king thinking you a pauper, a beggar, due to your ignorance. Okay? There you go. Feel better. Couldn't get that thing out. Man, watch this. Now, you, king, walk around here thinking you're poor and homeless. Every human being has the potential. Get it right, y'all. Billy Cass and the Wild Boys. Potential. Okay. And that's what the noon represents. Potential. It can be, y'all call it, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. the noon with knowledge of self, you all do get the same power. Okay, that's what they tell you. Every human being has the potential to what? To discover their greatest treasure, which lies inside them of all existence, if what they would only apply themselves and to study and the practice of right thinking philosophy teachings, yoga, which with the proper guidance, tutelage, shema, that means to bring together, to unite, is the ancient Egyptian word and the symbol meaning what? Union or yoga. This is the vision of Egyptian yoga, to connect good and the bad, high and low together as one. That's what Mayat means, opposites coming together to create a good result. Usually it's for reproduction with male or female, the offspring. A lot of people use it for other, and it work. Okay, that's what it's for, to be used. Excuse me, hopefully correctly. But you know how man do. We're gonna misuse it. We're gonna abuse it. But all those who do, pay the price. So that should be a warning for those who, I'm gonna show, okay, knock yourself out. Star Wars showed you that. It's filled. I can tell you, I used to be on the dark side. My old man was Darth Vader. Now I'm Luke Skywalker. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Just having some fun. Now I see the clock. I got a lesson coming up for you. That was going to be the study of yoga. But new lesson coming up right now in closing, right thinkers. May you all live be 100. May 100 minus a day. So I never know that my right thinkers have passed away. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'll be right back.